A body slammed against the tatami. The third hour of private drills had not been kind.
Get up. We are far from finished.
My arms won't listen. How much longer can I hold out?
Your recovery is too slow. In a real fight, you would be dead.
Just 3 days ago, Kazuki had been a college freshman seeking confidence. The dojo's faded sign and quiet street had felt like a last resort. Inside, the air was still. Only one other pair of shoes sat in the rack.
You wish to join?
Yes, sensei. I want to become stronger.
The woman's dark red eyes measured him without warmth. She said nothing.
I reject more students than I accept. Most do not last a month.
300 rejections. The rumors were not exaggerated.
She stood over him like a sentencing judge.
Put on a gi. We begin immediately.
The first lesson was merciless.
Lower your hips. No. Deeper, again.
She corrected every inch, every breath. Her voice never rose, but it cut.
Your balance is pathetic. Fix it now.
She's not teaching me. She's breaking me down piece by piece.
By the end, his legs gave out. He collapsed onto the tatami, gasping.
That is enough for today. We continue tomorrow. Do not be late.
Why me? Of the hundreds she turned away, why is she keeping me?
Day after day, the dojo's empty mats became his stage of exhaustion.
Every muscle screams. She never lets up. Not for a second.
Faster. Your punch loses power because you hesitate.
The few other students paused their drills to stare. Murmurs filled the silence. Even from across the mat, Kazuki caught fragments. Never lasts. Why him?
They're talking about me. Like I'm the next to be tossed out.
Concentrate. Or do you want to join the list of those who quit?
No, sensei. I'm still here.
Her gaze flickered. For a moment, it almost looked like approval.
We'll see. Extend your arm.
Without warning, she seized his forearm, her fingers pressing a specific spot. A sharp, familiar pain shot through the bone.
Does this hurt, Kazuki? Here, where you broke it in middle school.
How do you know about that? I never told anyone here.
I know more than you think. That will be all for today.
She knows my body better than I do. This isn't normal.
That night in his small apartment, he traced the faint scar on his arm.
I broke it when I was 12. A stupid fall. But no one from the dojo would know.
He searched online for Tsubaki's name. Almost nothing, just a few old tournament results.
A prodigy who retired early. That's all. Why would she fixate on me?
You're late, and your mind is elsewhere. Fix both, or don't come back.
She's not just a teacher. This is personal. But how?
After training, Kazuki lingered outside the dojo until the lights went out.
I need to see what she's hiding. That office holds answers.
He slipped through a loose window, heart pounding in the silence. The office was cramped, cluttered with papers and dusty trophies.
Old newspaper clippings, faded photos. Nothing online, but maybe here.
He pulled open a drawer and found a worn photo album. Inside, yellowed pages held snapshots of a young girl in a gi with fiery eyes.
This is her. Younger, but definitely Tsubaki.
Then he saw a photo of a children's tournament, 2 kids facing off.
Who's that boy? His face is scratched out.
Suddenly, the door slammed open. Tsubaki stood there, breathless.
What are you doing here?
I needed to understand why you know my old injury.
That doesn't give you the right to dig through my past.
She snatched the album from his hands, her fingers trembling.
Leave now. And don't ever come back unless you're ready to train.
Her voice cracked. That wasn't anger alone. That was pain.
He glimpsed the unshed tears in her dark red eyes before she turned away.
Go. I won't ask again.
Sensei, who was that boy?
There was no one. Just a ghost. Leave.
A ghost? No, she's protecting something. And it's connected to me.
The next morning, Tsubaki's stare was icier than usual.
Stance drills. Front stance, hold for 5 minutes. Don't wobble.
She's punishing me for last night. The air feels sharper today.
His legs burned. Then, barely audible, she muttered something.
Used to have better balance.
Used to? What do you mean used to?
I said nothing. Focus on your feet.
You did? You said used to, like you knew me before.
You misheard. And you will hold horse stance for 10 minutes now.
She's lying. That slip was real. There's a past she's keeping from me.
After the brutal session, the dojo emptied quickly. Kazuki slipped into the storage room, thick with dust.
She keeps everything. If there's a link, it's buried here.
Among forgotten gear, a box labeled tournaments caught his eye. Inside, old flyers and brackets yellowed with age. A flyer for a children's karate championship dated 12 years ago.
12 years. I would have been 7. Did I compete?
The flyer listed participants from several dojos, including Tsubaki's name.
If I was there, why can't I remember anything?
Footsteps echoed in the hallway. He stuffed the flyer into his gi. Back in his apartment, he spread the flyer on the floor, staring.
There's a gap in my memory, right around that age. This has to be the key.
He didn't sleep. By dawn, one truth was clear. Tsubaki had been waiting for him to remember. Later that morning, Kazuki went to the dojo early, hoping to find answers in the familiar quiet. An elderly man, a retired helper, was sweeping the entrance. One of the few who still cared for the old dojo.
Excuse me. You've been here a long time, right? Do you remember a children's tournament 12 years ago?
The old man paused, leaning on his broom. He spoke slowly, his voice carrying the weight of old memories. Tsubaki? She was a monster even then, undefeated in her age group. But after that day, she never competed again.
Why? What happened?
The old man shook his head. She never said, just stopped, like her fire went out overnight.
Overnight, something broke her that day, and I might be the reason.
That night, exhaustion pulled him into a restless sleep. He was back in the tournament hall, the smell of gym mats and sweat, a blur of white giz. He was 7 again, facing a girl with jet black hair tied with a red ribbon. She moved like water. Before he could react, his arm twisted, a sharp crack echoing.
That pain, it's the same as my old fracture. This isn't just a dream.
The girl's face remained a blur, but the red ribbon was vivid, soaked in sunlight.
You promised you'd come back stronger.
Who are you? I don't remember.
The dream shattered. Kazuki jolted upright, gasping, his arm throbbing with phantom pain.
That girl, the red ribbon. It's the same one Tsubaki wears now. It was her. She's the one who broke my arm, and I made her a promise I can't recall.
Outside, the dojo stood silent under the moon. Inside, Tsubaki sat alone, holding the same red ribbon, waiting.
I have to know the rest, even if it breaks me.
Kazuki entered the dojo that morning, the dream still clawing at his mind.
Maybe she hates me for some childhood slight, or she's trying to break me like she did back then.
During warm-ups, every correction from her stung like a personal attack.
Your footwork is sloppy. You'll never win like that.
There it is again. Never win. Like she's comparing me to someone.
After the session, he couldn't hold it in any longer.
Sensei, I had a dream last night about a children's tournament. A girl with a red ribbon broke my arm.
Her hand, adjusting her belt, froze.
Dreams are just dreams. They mean nothing.
She's lying. Her knuckles are white. Then why do you know about my old injury? Why did you say I used to have better balance?
Memories lie, Kazuki. Don't chase ghosts.
She's hiding something. This isn't just teaching, it's personal vengeance.
The frustration boiled over. He threw his gi on the floor.
I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
He turned toward the door, heart pounding.
Leaving? After everything? How typical.
Typical? She's mocking me, but her voice cracked. What do you want from me? I don't remember anything.
If you leave now, you'll never know. That is your choice.
Her words stopped him cold.
She's giving me a choice? But the way she said it, like she wants me to stay.
His hand on the sliding door, he hesitated, the dojo's silence pressing down. The hesitation ended. A shadow fell over him.
You don't get to leave. Not like this.
Her dark red eyes blazed not with anger, but something far older.
You promised. 12 years ago, you made a promise.
A promise? What is she talking about?
And then for the audience alone, the past unfolded. A children's tournament final. 2 young fighters on the mat. The girl's foot swept the boy's legs. He crashed down, arm twisted. The referee declared her victory. She stood over him, chest heaving. The boy, tears streaming, shouted up at her. "I'll come back stronger, sensei." He had called her sensei as a joke. The girl's eyes widened. She took those words and locked them away. The flashback dissolved, leaving Kazuki in the silent dojo.
Do you understand now? I've rejected 300 because none of them were you.
But I don't remember any of that. What promise did I make?
Enough. That's all I'll say.
She walked to the back of the dojo, her back a wall.
A promise I made as a child, that she's been guarding all this time.
He stood frozen, the weight of 12 years pressing on his shoulders.
I have to remember. I have to find out what I said.
The dojo's silence had become a question he couldn't answer yet.
But one thing was certain. Walking away was no longer an option.
That night, Kazuki sat alone in his apartment, the flyer before him.
The silence stretched, and then, like a dam breaking, the memory surged.
He was back on the tournament mat, 7 years old, arm twisted in agony.
That girl, her eyes, dark red, narrowed like a blade. I called her sensei as a joke, and she believed me.
The memory sharpened, the girl's stunned expression, and then a tiny, fierce smile.
She took my childish words and built her entire life around them.
Kazuki stumbled to his feet in the present, knocking over a chair.
That's why she never let anyone in. She was waiting for me.
Without thinking, he ran out into the night. The dojo loomed ahead, a single light burning inside. He slid the door open. Tsubaki was there, kneeling in the center of the tatami.
You remembered.
The promise. I said I'd come back stronger. Sensei. A stupid joke.
It wasn't stupid. It was the only thing I've held on to.
She stood and bowed deeply, her back straight, the red ribbon trailing.
I waited 12 years for you to walk through that door. I rejected everyone else.
She's been alone this whole time, because of a child's careless words.
The weight of her devotion pressed on him, suffocating and tender.
Now stop being late.
I don't know what to say.
For a long moment, only the wind outside spoke.
How can I ever repay 12 years?
The next morning, Kazuki didn't go to the dojo.
I just need time. Time to process everything.
But time only stretched the silence.
Every lecture bled into static. Nothing mattered.
Nights were worse. The apartment felt like a cage.
She's been waiting 12 years, and I can't even face her.
On the 4th evening, his feet led him toward the dojo. He stopped at the corner. Tsubaki stood at the gate like a sentinel. Her expression was unreadable, but her posture held a desperate hope.
She's out here every evening, waiting for me?
The dojo behind her was dark. No students, just air and ghosts.
She's kept this place alive, alone, for a ghost.
He stepped back into the alley, heart hammering.
I can't go in. Not yet. I'm not ready.
But walking away felt like tearing something vital. He spent another night in turmoil. The red ribbon burned into his mind.
She's invested her entire life, and I'm just a college student who can't even keep a training schedule.
The next morning, from the bus window, he saw her again, still there.
Every single day. She's waiting every single day.
The guilt was corrosive. but so was the fear of not being enough.
I have to decide. Either I go back and face this, or I leave forever.
And he realized that leaving forever would break him more than staying. The next morning, Kazuki slid the dojo door open before dawn. Tsubaki knelt in the center, still as stone. She didn't turn.
You returned. I expected you to run.
I meant what I said. I'm not going anywhere.
She rose and closed the distance, her fingers pressing his elbow into a higher block.
Your guard is pathetic. Spar with me. Full contact.
She wants to hurt me, or test if I'll break again.
They circled, the only sound their breath and the tatami shifting. She attacked first, a blur of white. His block was late, her fist grazing his ribs.
Faster than before. She's not holding back.
He threw a desperate reverse punch. Her defense dropped just a breath. His knuckle skimmed her cheek. A thin red line opened. Time stopped. Tsubaki touched her cheek, staring at the blood on her fingers.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You finally landed a hit. About time.
She stepped forward, pressing a white cloth to the wound, her other hand steadying his shoulder.
Don't disappear again. I can't. Not again.
I won't. I promise. I'll be here tomorrow and every day after.
She nodded once, then released him, stepping back into a formal bow. The dojo, once a tomb of rejected hopes, now held a fragile truce.
For the first time, the weight on my chest feels like hers. Not a burden, a bond.
The next morning's training started with a different rhythm. Tsubaki's corrections were sharp, but no longer aimed to wound. Kazuki noticed. Her hands guided instead of pushed. During a water break, he caught her watching him.
Sensei, I want to become strong, not just to keep a promise, but for you.
Tsubaki turned away, but her shoulders stiffened.
Then you'll train harder than anyone I've ever taught, as my only disciple.
Her only disciple. That word carries weight.
From that moment, the dojo became a place of relentless, fierce growth. Every stance corrected, every kata refined, her voice no longer a blade but a compass. She'd often stand close, adjusting his shoulders, their eyes meeting for a breath too long.
When our eyes lock, I feel like she's seeing right through me.
One evening, after an intense spar, they both collapsed on the tatami, gasping. He looked at her, sweat and exhaustion, but she was smiling just a little.
You smiled.
Don't get used to it.
He reached out, tentatively brushing her hand. She didn't pull away. The silent moment stretched, the dojo's quiet holding them both.
She gave me a place to belong. I'll become strong enough to protect it.
Come, we'll start again early tomorrow.
I'll be here, I promise.
The promise had once been a child's joke. Now it was something unbreakable. Months passed. The dojo's rhythm became muscle memory. Then, the tournament day arrived. The arena buzzed. Competitors in white gis warmed up under the harsh lights.
Remember, your left side is faster. Breathe, and do not embarrass me.
Her voice is sharp, but her hands are steady. She's given me everything.
His first match was called. A taller opponent sneered. Kazuki moved before the sneer faded. Tsubaki's drill, low sweep, reverse punch. The opponent hit the mat. Point. Victory.
Acceptable. Now do it again.
Round after round, Kazuki fought. Her voice echoed in his mind. In the second match, he used her signature counter, elbow block, then driving knee.
She drilled this into me until I collapsed. Now it's instinct.
From the stands, Tsubaki's fingers pressed into her arms. She didn't blink. The semi-final paired him against a seasoned champion. Every block stung.
He's faster, but I have something he doesn't. Her.
He feinted low, then snapped a high kick. The champion's head snapped back. The referee raised his arm. Kazuki was in the final.
I can hear her voice even now. Never hesitate.
You're not done. The final is where we prove it.
I won't let you down, Sensei.
A brief pause. The arena lights dimmed for the final match announcement.
This is it. 12 years of waiting distilled into one fight.
From the stands, Tsubaki touched the red cord in her hair, a silent prayer. The final opponent entered the ring, a giant of a man, undefeated. Kazuki took his stance. The referee's hand dropped. The giant exploded forward. Kazuki blocked, but the force rattled his bones.
He's like a wall, but I've been hit by her. I can take this.
And in a blink, he was 7 again, arm twisted, a girl's dark red eyes glaring down. "I'll come back stronger, Sensei," the child's voice echoed across time. Present again, the giant's foot swept his leg. He crashed down. The crowd gasped. The referee began the count.
No, not like this. I promised her.
Remember your promise, Kazuki?
Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. He rose before the count, legs trembling, fists up. The giant charged again, but this time Kazuki was ready Tsubaki's drill. Pivot, elbow, sweep. The giant crashed to the mat. The arena fell silent.
I did it. For her.
The referee declared victory. Kazuki's arm was raised. He searched the crowd. Tsubaki stood, tears streaming, a smile breaking like dawn.
You finally kept your promise, Kazuki.
Sensei, thank you for waiting.
She stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder, her touch light but steady.
No need to thank me. This was always yours to keep.
In her eyes, I see the girl who waited 12 years, and the woman who never gave up on me.
The arena lights blazed, but between them, there was only this. Weeks later, the dojo stood under a crisp morning sky. Inside, there were sounds. The shoe rack held more than one pair now. A handful of new students lined the tatami. Tsubaki moved among them, her voice steady, but no longer a blade. Beside her, Kazuki adjusted a beginner's stance.
Keep your back straight. Hesitation is the only true weakness.
She's different now. Still strict, but there's a warmth that wasn't there before.
After class, the students bowed and left in a quiet line. The dojo fell into its old silence, but now it was a peaceful one.
You're still too stiff in the shoulders, but you're improving.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Don't get used to it. You still have a long way to go.
He caught the smile before it disappeared. It was a promise kept in silence.
This dojo isn't just alive, it's become my home. Because she's here.
They stayed late, training alone as the sun dipped below the windows.
Good. Again.
I could do this forever. Just the two of us, sharing these moments.
The dojo's scrolls had seen decades pass, but tonight, they seemed to whisper of new beginnings. As they wiped down the floor, Tsubaki's hand brushed his once more, and neither pulled away. The next morning dawned clear. Kazuki arrived early, but Tsubaki was already there, kneeling in the center.
You're early. Did you sleep at all?
I could ask the same. You're never late anymore.
I made a promise, and I intend to keep it every single day.
Then don't be late. Today we start a new kata.
She straightened the fold of his gi, her touch light and familiar. The dojo was no longer dying. It was theirs, and it was breathing.